What's up guys, and welcome to the brand new 2024 Nissan Z Performance. Not the first time I've driven a new Z. I drove actually a very similar car to this one last year, and this year I drove the Nissan Z Nismo on the same road. But I've always been curious to see how the Z Performance feels with a 6-speed manual on my home road here, a very technical, twisty, and bumpy proving grounds, if you will. So this is a completely stock, brand new Z Performance. MSRP is a little over $50,000. The owner Mike just broke it in, 1,800 miles on the odometer. And I want to see how it feels out here. Is it more sports car, or is it more GT? We're powered by the VR30 twin turbocharged 3-liter V6 engine, making 400 horsepower and 350 pound-feet of torque. This car weighs just over 3,500 pounds. It has double wishbone front suspension, multi-link rear, and with the performance trim, which has a $10,000 premium over the base model, we get a lot of things that, in my opinion, should be standard on a Nissan with the Z badge. That includes firmer suspension, a limited slip differential. That's right, the base Z has an open diff, which is crazy for a 400 horsepower front engine rear drive car. We also get bigger brakes, 19-inch wheels with Bridgestone S007 summer tires, and we get these power adjustable seats, which are covered in this fake suede. It's a pretty nice place to be. $54,000 MSRP for this particular car, I believe. There are obvious pieces that are a direct carryover from the 370Z. Outside of that, there are some very nice materials here. Stitched leather. Love the fact that the color matches the exterior. Very nice 3-spoke steering wheel with buttons that at first appear to be touch sensitive, but they're actually physical, which I very much appreciate. It's a very sort of old school interior that's been updated with just the right amount of digitization. You can see Kevin Jabal there from the Jabal and Cars YouTube channel driving away in a supercharged 370Z, which I just drove. And I'm curious to see how much more refined this one is. Very mild startup from this twin turbocharged V6. Auto rev match off. Manual handbrake, which is nice. No adaptive suspension. Electric power steering. All right. One corner is all it takes for me to say that this is a very softly sprung car. A lot of body roll in the corners. Oh, interesting. Okay, this twin turbocharged engine, lots of power, but there is, I won't call it rev hang because the revs don't just hang there, but it does take a pretty long time for the revs to drop in between shifts. Notice there, it's not a car that wants to be speed shifted. Brakes feel nice. The pedal is not particularly firm, but the car stops just fine. Really impressive power, I will say that. Not the best sounding engine in the world. This could definitely use an exhaust to open up that sound, but there's no denying this very broad torque curve, and it revs nicely to 7,000 RPM. But it's a very soft car in the corners. You feel a delay in its responses when you first turn in, and when you try to make back-to-back transitions, left to right or vice versa, the car's not the most eager to do it. Nice and easy to heel toe, good pedal placement, floor-mounted gas pedal. But there's just so much movement because of the suspension setup. I would love to try this with a proper set of MCS or JRZ or even Öhlins dampers. This LSD doing its job though, putting the power down, even coming out of second gear corners. Shifter, not bad, but not great. The throws are a little bit long for my liking, and it's got a slightly rubbery feel. It's almost like how I remember the 350Z and 370Z manual, but with a little taste of BMW rubberiness added in for good measure. Very easy to use though. no question what gear you're going into. Feel a little bit of turn and understeer there. Oh yeah, lots of power. This engine is a torque monster. I wish it had better response. Not only on throttle response, but also when I lift off, I wish the revs dropped quicker. Maybe that can be fixed with a lightweight flywheel. Maybe it's down to the electronic throttle tuning. Overall, it's very apparent that this car is tuned as more of a GT, a grand touring sports car, versus a hardcore track or even canyon car. But I will say, it does seem to have very good fundamentals. We have double wishbone front suspension, multi-link rear. You don't see that too often in a car in this price range. Even the GR Supra has strut front suspension. So if you do lower this car, you will get a little bit more negative camber and dynamic camber change when you load up those tires. The LSD, the 19-inch wheels, everything about this car feels well balanced. Just everything airs towards the side of comfort and softness rather than that hardcore razor-edged feel that some Z owners might want. And I think that's okay. Again, this car has always been a tuning platform. Every generation of Z, from the 240Z all the way up to the 300ZX, 350, 370, and now the new Z, it is a blank canvas of a car. The only question I have in my mind, or doubt I should say, is who is actually buying these cars. I've seen maybe 2 or 3 in the wild, on the road, since it came out over maybe 2 years ago. Is it priced too high at over $50,000 for the performance trim? I mean, compared to the GR Supra, it's priced very similarly. This powertrain, very impressive. Is it B58 good? No. Neither is the transmission compared to the GR Supra's 6-speed manual. I think the Supra really does have a leg up in powertrain and transmission over just about every other car in that price range or below. Hell, it even beats some cars above its price range. But where this Z is definitely superior, well, for one, visibility. Much better than the GR Supra's cocoon feeling interior. I also like this more retro looking interior design. They've added nice touches exactly where the car needed it. All the touch points of this car are much nicer than the last generation. And actually, I think it's befitting of its over $50,000 price point. So my question is, why don't I see more of these on the road? Maybe some of you in the comments can share some wisdom. Why aren't people buying these? There's plenty of Supras. I see Supras here in the Bay Area just about every day. And I know that car's been out a few years longer than the Z, but still, something doesn't add up here. Why aren't people picking these up? Is it the dealership experience? I don't think these cars have markup anymore. I know Mike, the owner, picked this one up at MSRP. So in my mind, there's a disconnect. To me, this is a great tuning platform. Or if you don't want to modify it, it's a very comfortable GT. And actually for the price point, if you want a fast, sporty, and luxurious sports car, I can't think of a single car below around $70,000 that is more comfortable than this one. A big thank you to Mike, the owner, for letting me experience this Z, but now I'm really itching to try a properly modified one that's focused on sharpening up its responses. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.